Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking out the new unfettered feral Princess Shuna on her showcase. A intriguingly controversial unit because the devs put it in the Predator battle that she was not the most obvious pick to represent FENRIR, but you know, hey, whatever. Someone was memeing over in Bandai Namco. But, you know, it happened. It's a thing. We have to move on. Is she actually good or not? I mean, yeah, she can be decent. Except I don't know if she's necessary, as I've said multiple times now. But she is wind, she is magic, she uses a claw, she's on Otherworld Legend, Ogre's Pride, and Tempest Elite. Ogre's Pride and Tempest Elite don't have actual leaders yet, so really just Otherworld Legend. She's defense growth to go alongside the meta, which is interesting considering she's a DPS unit, but it all does come to a head with her skills. Single target wind magic attack, no additional effect, goes up to 735 or something like that. Then the first skill is 3 stacks of vengeance and then gives herself 50% ult gauge, which is good for a DPS character. But she has defense stats, so, like, yeah, she's got over 2,000 more points in defense than she does attack, which is not great in most scenarios. However, the second skill swaps those stats, so then she becomes a fairly high attack stat unit, and then gives herself a pretty significant 50% wind attack buff, turning her from a oddly stupid kind of defense DPS into a full-powered, you know, actually good offensive unit, but still stuck on a defense-oriented team with no other damage buffs coming to her. So in that aspect, it's like, yeah, cool, she can be a DPS unit. No one else around her is going to help her do that, though. So you got to get real interesting with your team builds if you actually want her to put up, you know, decent amounts of damage. Her Valor trait, she nerfs oranges after sending 2 orbs. It's not really a super huge thing. And then her actual trait, if you had dupes of her, she gives extra protection gauge every 2 turns, which is a really, really good trait, but I really, really, really don't recommend people summon for Shuna, so I don't know why you would have traits unless you're a big-ass whale. But with that said, let's go ahead and take her into some events. Alright. First, we're going to have to deal with the lag, because we're going to go into the Beatdown battle, Inferno 1, and we're going to use the quote-unquote full meta as we have right here. So we've got Velzard, Raphael, Yom, and Shuna. Now, we have 3 units that have skills that give vengeance, right? Yom, Raphael, and Shuna. Shuna is a selfish vengeance skill, because she's buffing her ult gauge. Yom is giving physical resistance, and Raphael is giving guard. So overall, if you're looking to take less damage, then these are going to be your better options. And because we're capped at 100 skill points with Velzard, you can only use a certain amount of skills on this team before you're just out. And generally, that amounts to 2 orb changes and 2 stacks of vengeance, generally speaking, of which we have the 2 units that would give the vengeance. Shuna having a 3rd vengeance means that sometimes when you don't have a Velzard active and nothing is reset, you can use her for, you know, a cheap stack of vengeance here and there. Or if you get lucky and you only need to use like 1 orb change, or preferably no orb changes during a turn, then you can get all 3 stacks plus like the attack seal from Raphael. That would be like the perfect scenario, because you are capped at 99 stacks of vengeance. Like you physically cannot go higher than that, as exemplified by this clip right here that I did last night for the Jubilee kind of thing. So if we pause it, we have 96 stacks of vengeance against them, and we're about to send a full turn with Shuna's EX ult, and then a whole bunch of stuff. We used her stat swap ability, we have the wind buff, but there is no other damage buffer on this team. It's all defensive-oriented units. So let's go ahead and send this, and she does 175k, right? Which, you know, is fairly good for a defense unit with no other support. Like, I'm not gonna downplay that. That's good damage for just herself with nothing else. but is it necessary? I don't really know. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and then they're going to hit us like 5 times, right? But we only need 4. So here's a hit, so that's 97, 98, 99, 99, and this is 99. So once before, there we go, 99 stacks. It does not go higher than that. So I got really lucky on this run because I got the maximum amount of stacks because I had multiple turns where I didn't have to orb change and I could use all 3 stacks of Vengeance over and over and over and over again. And it ends up doing, how much damage? 445,000? That is not an insignificant chunk of damage, and it gave me my new personal highest score of 7.1 million, which for a full, like, level 100 EX team is really, really good. So it's like, you can, if you get lucky, use 3 stacks of Vengeance in turn. But it is only if you get incredibly lucky. So, there's that little mini clip for you. I'm still number 2 because Nature has full 120 team and I can't compete with that. There's just only so much I can do. And I literally can't go above 99 stacks to get any extra damage. So, there's that for you. So let's go in and let's find out how well this team does in the actual beatdown battle. Alright, so let's figure out how well this team runs when, as a whole. I forgot to hit record, so we've used the Isis Orb change and the green buff because we've brought the skill point units for turn 1, so that's cool. Now let's bring in Shuna, and then we'll leave Eldora in the back. So we have all 3 of the units that are getting that 60% damage increase. Now, because she is Wind, she will also have type advantage, which means she will hit a lot harder. 59, 9,000 right there. So yeah, definitely hitting more. And a Pierce, a lucky Pierce. Alright, so here lies the issue, right? This hand is the perfect example of why we didn't really need her. So we have 2 greens, 2 blues, and 2 oranges. Awesome. Guess who's not going to be up front for this? Shuna, because we're going to take this ult, right? And I don't really want to take that ult. But I also don't need to use Shuna's Vengeance stack, because that's going to give her ult gauge. That's not as helpful as getting 20% Fizz resistance and guarding, right? Because we're going to take this ult. We need to seal him. So we can only use 1 stack of something alongside the 2 orb changes that we need. So you're going to go away. And we're going to bring Veldora in, use his orb change, use Yom's orb change, seal their skills, and give us that physical resistance so we can tank that ult a little bit better. Should I have used the guard instead? It really doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to help us take less damage. But then let's go ahead and reset everything. And so far we've used Shuna twice, 2 orbs, and we're not going to use her on this turn. She's good for, like, additional stuff, right? If you have the capability to do extra stacks, then do extra stacks. And the damage output, like, again, it's inconsequential because this team doesn't have an ult support, doesn't have an attack support. We can work with that, technically, because we have Isis. Alright, we took 1 damage against Raphael. Awesome. Alright, 1. And 1. Sweet deal. 8 stacks of Vengeance. But here, we still need to use 2 orb changes, and we still need to use 2 stacks of Vengeance. So where are we going to use that? Well, probably we're going to use it from Yom and Raphael. So let's bring Isis in for Veldora, and then we'll use both the blue orb changes. They're still sealed, so we don't need to use that. And we can avoid taking that ult. So here, I'm probably more tempted to do the guard, the guard, and then the physical resistance. So again, we can tank this ult really, really well. And then we'll just continue with this. So next turn, hopefully, I don't have to use double orb change, and we can get the triple stacks. 8,000, not great, doesn't matter. 5,000, 5,000, and then Shuna does another 20k or something like that. Yeah, almost. Okay. So here we've got the Fizz resistance, we've got the guard, they've been sealed, so they should do, literally nothing. Interesting that Shuna's taking more damage than Roth. Oh, because we don't have the resistance on her, that's why. Never mind. Okay, well that's unfortunate. We can't do anything about that, because we don't have a double orange orb changer. So, Ha 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 ha, funny. Let's let's do what we need to do, right? So we'll bring you you know what? We'll use a stack. We'll use a stack for funsies. That way we can get her close. Not all the way, but close. And then we'll bring Veldora in. And we'll change the rest of these. So this orb change, and then we'll do the blue orb change from Yom. So we've used one stack of Shuna's Vengeance, which doesn't really help the team at all. It helps her. And I think we'll do the guard. Yeah, we gotta run with this. Hopefully next turn we get a little bit luckier with our orbs. Alright. 8,000, almost 9,000. Cool beans. 11, 5,000. This will be 9,000. Alright. Sure, whatever. That works out. So, here... What can we do? Do we does Yom have an orb? Yom does have an orange orb. So actually here's a turn where we don't need to use a double orb change because we're gonna bring in Shuna who has an ult for Yom who only has that one orange orb. So we actually don't need to do the orange orb change with Yom. We can just use the stack and then get him out of here. Now, Shuna's not going to have that Fizz resistance buff, but that's okay. She has type advantage, and we'll just kind of work with it. Oh, right. I should have used the orb change first. Well, it didn't work out. I fucked it up. Okay, well, that's hilarious. Oh well, let's do that. I had it right there, and then I misplayed, like an idiot that I am. But I won't cut it because I know you guys like it when I fuck up like this because it proves that I'm human. Ooh, I probably should have sealed them actually more than putting the vengeance on, but oh well. We'll lower their physical attack here. Hopefully Isis doesn't die. Hopefully, being the keyword. 1,700 damage. 10,000 damage. That's a little better. Okay. What happens here? 12,000, and then does Isis get one shot? No, she takes about half her HP though. At least I didn't attack her. Never mind. Okay, well, she lived. That's the important part. What does this hand look like? Well, it's a fairly good hand. So, orb change, orb change. If we had Valentine or Millen here, that would be a one shot right there. And then let's see. I can't take anyone out because I was gonna try and use the vengeance stack on Shuna and get her closer, but I don't really know if that's a good idea here. I mean, we can because it'll still be a stack of vengeance, right? So we'll do this. We'll do the stack with Shuna. And then we'll bring in Yom. And then we'll just change that blue. And that'll be our turn right there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Close to another Velzard. We're holding on to it because we don't need to use it every single turn. Sometimes it's better to hold off. Alright, he's counterattacking, which is good. So this is a good time to have all of the attacks. However, we don't have a lot of defense going on. As you can see, we're taking quite a bit from that. So, did Shuna's, did Shuna help us out, or are we just going to die here? 1, 2. Alright, 1. Oh, Raphael. You're cutting real close there. Okay, that's unfortunate. Well, here is the turn that we could talk about, right? Because now we can bring in, for Veldora, we can bring in you. So we'll do this. We'll do the last stack of vengeance for her. And I think we'll just kind of send it. No, we'll save her ult. We'll save it for the EX ult, that way we can use the stat swap. So there's the counterattacks. And then we'll use the rush, this stack, and then we're going to seal them. No, we have to use the blue orb change, never mind. Gotta use the blue for that full hand. But we're only gonna send 2 of the ults. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Alright. 95 skill points, not 100, but fine, whatever. How many stacks do we have? We have 60 stacks right here. And we could have had more, but, you know, it worked out the way it worked out. But we have the EX ult, guard. I don't think Raphael will die even if he got hit. No. Stupid close. 64 stacks. And next turn, they're all dead. But I have to take Raphael out, who only has one orb anyways. So, we'll bring Veldora in. And then we shall stat swap with Shuna. And we can put 2 more stacks of Vengeance on. Now, will this EX ult actually kill Dino so we can avoid that ult? I don't actually know. I don't know. That's the problem. How much health does he have? Because we do about, what, 130, 170, somewhere around there? He has 25k. Alright, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. It is what it is. But Shuna, we'll watch it. It is a pretty fun-looking ult, especially this little, like, red eye kind of glare that she's got. Kind of like what Raphael does. 168k. I mean, okay, sure, whatever. 25k on that orb, and then we should live here. Oh, counterattack. Alright, cool. And then they're both dead. 72 stacks of Vengeance. 500k, 541k, and there we go. It's quite a long segment because it's a long team. But we've got Yom's windscreen, and there we go. Like, did we need it? Not really, because Dino was going to die that turn. It did help us not take that ult, but is it necessary to run the team with 3 Vengeance units? Probably not. Probably not. But she did contribute. She definitely did contribute damage because she ulted twice and took out Dino to help us avoid that. She does more damage overall because she's got type advantage, plus the extra, 60% damage buff from Velzard. So she's not useless on the team, but we could have very probably run this without her and been just fine. So she's nice to have, but we could have done it. We could have done it without her. Let's move on. Let's make her now like a true DPS. Let's put her on a damage-focused team for some other event, and let's see how that goes. Alright, we're gonna make her the DPS unit on the Wind 2.0 meta. So we're gonna go into their Tempered Edge. Gabiru gives us 15 skill points every time we use him, which allows us to use 2 55-point skill buffs on the same turn. So we've got the hero for the crits and crit resistance down, Milim for the ult buff and the crit damage to wind allies, which Shuna is. We'll have her stat swap ability, which means that when Gabiru uses his skill, he gives the highest attack stat unit an extra 25% magic damage, which, when we stat swap, we will be the unit with the highest attack, because we have 13.2k defense, which will then transfer over to our attack stat. And so yeah, I mean, in theory, this should work out just fine, and she should look fairly impressive, because she's also rushing her own ult. And the Vengeance may or may not play a factor here, I don't actually know, so let's find out. Haha, okay guys, the gig is up. We took out shitty little Protector Gabiru and we put Trainee, the highly superior replacement, and she will solve all our problems. All of them. Except I forgot I used this already. Okay. Well, let's rewind, right? Right? Is that what we do here? Yeah, we rewind, because then we'll have enough points. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll rewind, we'll use Trainee, give us 40 skill points, ensure that the incoming hand is going to be all blues. Therefore, when we do this... Yes, this, we can just use Trainee's orb change, and that will give us a full hand of blue. Yes, we have thought about this. And we have another Trainee. Okay, so here we go. Let's use this. And then we can... What is your attack stat? 9-5? 10-1? 10-1? What is Geld's attack stat? 7-9. I bet Millim's is higher, though. Probably. We may have to do some interesting things. We're gonna use the stat swap now to guarantee that Shuna has really, really, really high attack. Alright, and now she has, what, 13,000? Yeah. And now we can give all these orbs away to her. Okay, that works. Not how I thought we would get to this point, but here we are. 12k a hit is not bad. She's got, you know, the really high attack stat, and she's got the 50% wind buff now, so that's good damage right there. Okay. She's not going to have it again, though, because it's going to go away. And now she's back down to human levels. Not human, but you know what I'm going for. So let's buff her alt gauge here, and this is not going to go onto her because she doesn't have a high attack stat. Huh. Man, this is a slight problem. Even if we put like the alt gauge on protection charm, like, oh man. Okay. All right. Well, we can use it next turn, and that'll get her the EX alt. So we'll take her out of here, and we'll just run with this full blue hand. We'll guarantee that we have another trainee coming, or another full hand of blues coming. That's fine. Just fine. Alright. We can do this, ladies and gentlemen. We can make this team work. It just takes a bigger brain than mine. And no counterattacks. Okay. So, let's... Ow, ow, ow. Let's do this. Let's guarantee that any orb that comes in is going to be a blue. So let's take Millim out. And then we'll use our buff, and we'll use the stat swap. Therefore, it's ready for next turn. There we go. And then you come in, and there's blues. All right. And this should be a lot of points right here, plus a double gauge. So that should give us enough to get both the... Okay. Both the big-time buffs, and then we should be able to nuke Diablo into the ground. Well, okay, we're going to nuke Geld into the ground, because Diablo's going to die from some normal attacks. Ow. 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 Okay. So, Geld, you're going away. Geld is out. Yes. Alright. Trainee is out. Because we don't need her wind attack buff, because Shuna already has hers, and it's much higher. So let's do this. Let's do the alt buff and the crit damage for wind allies. And then we'll double trainee here, and that'll give us 80 points, and we can use the crit and crit resistance down. And from the hero. And then we can do probably a good amount of damage. Probably being the key word. Alright, so Shuna's got 13.2k attack, guaranteed crits, 30% crit damage, 50% wind buff. Everyone has, 40% defense down. So let's go ahead and try and one-shot this Geld at 190k, plus the EX alt. And then we'll send this all over here. Let's see how this goes. 269k. Alright, one shot. Goodbye. 4, and then this will kill. This will kill. 43k. Okay, well look guys, we did it. And it didn't take any unnecessary resets at all. 269,000 damage. Wind buff, stat swap, alt buff, crit. Crit damage, crit resistance down, defense down. EX alt. That sounds like a lot. But I don't think it did that much. Let's try again, on a different stage. Alright, I think for the last segment of the showcase, we're going to take her onto the Veldora magic team and use Veldora's 70% magic buff, the what, 25% attack buff we'll get from Sokka, the alt buff, the crit buff, and then the stat swap and the wind attack. And we'll see if we can reasonably kill this Gazel. I think we can, because it's an EX alt. But, you know, we'll see. We brought Sokka to guarantee the orbs, because we're not bringing a dedicated orange orb changer. So, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I mean, sure. I guess a natural 6 orb of Shuna, or of Sokka, is more doable than just a good orb change. Fine, fuck you, whatever. We'll swap you out, and we'll do this, and then everything will be hunky dory. But you know what? Let's use this too, just to get some of that out of here. All right, and then we'll reset everyone's skills. Everything is cool. Everything is fine. And then we'll send this full 6-hand of Sokka, and now the next turn is guaranteed to be greens, and hopefully every single turn after that will be guaranteed greens. And then maybe we could finally use Shuna after a counterattack. Ooh, we have almost an EX ult with Sokka. That's cool. I don't think it does us very much. So let's use that again. I think we have to keep her in, though. Let's use the green buff as well. And then we'll bring you in for Isis. Yeah. We're gonna get another ult for her. That's actually not really what I want. Let's bring the hero in. And let's do some rewind shenanigans just to help us get the ult. So we'll do this. Well, maybe not in that order, but we'll do this. Yeah, we'll do that. So this will get us the ult for Shuna, and then we can, on the rewind, use the ult rush skill. Put 3 stacks of Vengeance on, which is inconsequential, but it'll give us even more ult gauge, and we have a whole bunch of hero orbs, because why not? Because why not? Sure. Whatever you say. Let's use Veldora, because we're going to get one back anyways here. The next turn is still guaranteed greens. No, not this. There we go. It almost gets us a Shuna, which we can use Shuna again next turn. That'll get our EX ult. We can use the stat swap, and then we can just send her away for a while. And miss the attack nerf. Okay, so yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll do this, we'll do that. So, no stack of Vengeance, the stat swap, she's ready to go. And we'll bring in Sokka for her. And that'll bring in that blue. I mean, there's really not much we can do about that, huh? Oh, no, we can. Hold on, what am I doing? We're done. Let's do that. We'll reset everything again, and then we'll use Sokka again, to give us those nice green orbs. Alright, I mean, it's working. I can't argue that it's not working. It's just that we're not really using Shuna for anything, because she's not really giving this team anything. Like, the 6 stacks of Vengeance, like, cool, we're going to do a little bit of damage starting next turn, and we're going to slowly whittle him down. But we are not... I mean, we might be close to the ult, or like the nuke, but we want his defense to go away on turn 8. So, Okay, so there's the seal. That's fine, because even though they are sealed, it doesn't mean they can't give the buff to Shuna when she comes back. So we still have the gauge increased for one more turn from Isis. That's fine. So let's get Millen out of here, because she's all reset and everything. We'll get Isis in. We'll use Veldora. And then we'll use the future green orbs, and we'll use the green buff again. So his defense leaves on turn 8, and he's about to start taking vengeance damage. We're not going to do too much in terms of like normal damage, because we've been sealed. He has a bunch of defense. No one has type advantage against Isis, and she's not really a DPS unit to begin with. Sure. Alright, 3,000 damage. How much vengeance does he take here? 26k. Oh. Well, I mean, we're not adding any more to it, so... You're maxed out. Okay. So we just have to wait 2 more turns for his defense to go away before we can actually hit him at full power. We can do that. So 1, and we'll just hold it. So we'll send you first. That way you don't do any unnecessary damage. 16k because we've got the magic buff. 10k on that. Ugh. I think we have to hold. Yeah, I don't think we can. Yeah, ooh. Is he gonna die here? We can only hit him once. we can only hit him once. So we have to get you, because we got a Soka orb coming in, but we need Soka's buff. So yeah, we'll do these hero orbs because they won't do much damage. They won't do 10k. In fact, you know what? We're only going to do 1 because we have enough. We have enough. There we go. 1 damage. Awesome. And then the vengeance will hit him, and then he's almost dead. Now we can nuke. All right, ult buff, and then you can go away. And then we'll bring Shuna in. 4 millim. And then we'll bring you. And we'll use the crit and then the attack buff, which is only 25%. That's fine. And then we'll got the 70% magic buff plus the EX ult. So 70% ult damage right here. Cool. 50% magic, or 50% wind buff. Guaranteed crits, 25% attack, 70% magic attack, and we have a 16.5k. Holy crap! Right, because we have that attack buff. All right, she'll do decent damage here. There's no doubt, and she's gonna kill him because he's almost dead anyways. 340k. I mean, that's not bad. We could have killed him like 3 turns ago, probably, if we had done all that. Even with his defense, I don't think that would have mattered. So I mean, does she work as a DPS unit? Yes, you can make her work, because even though she has terrible attack stats, once you stat swap, she's actually going to have really good attacks, or really good attack, and she's buffing herself, and she's rushing her own ult. So I mean, on paper, if you didn't know this was a defense meta, and you just saw that kit, and you didn't see any of her stats, and you'd be like, well, that's not bad. That's not bad. She can give herself her own ult. She puts Vengeance on, which is the whole point of the gimmick for this meta, and she gives herself a pretty big attack buff, wind attack buff. In a vacuum, on paper, she looks pretty good. And on the new meta team, with the other 2 Vengeance users, 3 technically if you want to count Velzard, she can run efficiently. But I can tell you that I personally have already cleared Inferno 3 of Beatdown Battle, and I didn't use Shuna. Like, I beat it days ago, and I didn't need Shuna. Does Shuna make it easier? Kinda, yeah. She gives you another avenue to get more Vengeance stacks. Again, if you get lucky, you don't have to use orb changes every turn. You can put additional stacks on. And she can rush her ult. But again, on the team as it stands right now, she's not doing that much damage. And I don't think you need to, because the Vengeance is where all of your damage is going to come from. So in that aspect, yeah, she's good, because she's giving you more Vengeance. But I think you'd have enough already, between the counterattacks and the hits that you're going to take with Velzard up, and the double stack of Yom and Raphael. I still think, if you like this meta, you should still continue summoning on the Raphael and Velzard banner, because Velzard is like the really, really important part, right? Velzard is what enables this team to run. Raphael is cool, and he's defensive, and he can help you survive almost any stage. But if you have Velzard and you have Yom, and you have some other defensive-oriented units like EX Yom, or EX Mirren, or some healers, then you can probably survive some of the lower stages. You don't need Raphael to do like EX1, as long as you have Velzard and a competent team. It's only when you start to get really, really high up that you would need, all of his defensive capabilities. So if you want to take on EX or Inferno 3 and have a reasonable chance of doing it, these 2 are going to be your bet. Shuna is not really going to help you do that. She might make it easier if you already have these 2 units. but only if you already have these 2 units. If you don't have these 2 units and you try and run Shuna with the meta, it's gonna look a little weird, and I don't know if it'll work. So let me know what you guys think. This won't be the last time we use Shuna. We'll definitely take her out some other places. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.